First of all, our young boys, your ages, you all in senior high school, 11th and 12th grade students, very bright young men. And you all, is politics something that catches your attention, or are you interested in politics at all? How the country is running?
I am, but it's sad to say that not a lot of young men are interested.
So young men, have they checked out in that regard? They figure, oh, let them do what they were doing. I don't have no say anyways.
And I spoke to one of my friends, and both of us were interested in politics, but he is now pulling his hand away because he is saying with all of these things going on in our country today, by the time we get there, it would be like our hands would be tied, and it will take more than a term or two to fix this, and he doesn't want to go into something knowing that there's going to be a drought.
Wow. So specifically what exactly, or perhaps maybe just one or two things that he's concerned or disappointed about?
He's concerned and disappointed, of course, about the way the government is conducting our funds, because a lot of times in this country we tend to focus on things that we're used to, and not things that will expand us as a nation in the long term. Because the carnival thing, a lot of schools are still leaking, a lot of teachers haven't been paid, and we're funding this thing for carnival to bring people in the country, and we don't even have our own people financially secure. That's a big disappointment.
And so education is lacking, but yet
Lacking a lot, but yet we find the money to do other things, but we can't find the money to pay our teachers. I don't understand that for the teachers who sit in hot classrooms and teach the generation that wants to come up. So basically, it looks to me that they want to keep us down.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I agree with what Jamal said. If a teacher does not get paid the way they would like to get paid, then they would end up going on strike. And when the teachers go on strike, then the students will be unable to learn, which will stop individuals from putting their children in schools in the Bahamas, and that's what causes children to want to go off to school and off to college.
This brain drain we continue hearing about.
And seeking education elsewhere, and furthermore a job, and never coming back to the Bahamas on the whole. And that's not what we want here.
Very interesting.
And I'll give you a scenario. And like we were talking about the young men and how a lot of young men are dropping out of school and different things like that. Young men today, they think. People believe that we as teenagers, we don't think, and that's across the board. That includes young men and young women. That we don't think, we're not interested in anything. But we are the most analytical people there is on earth. Because young men, this is a general scenario. I go to school today, and Mrs. Hannah says to me, oh, well, you're never going to make it out class. We ain't doing nothing today. I don't feel like it. I'm tired. I'm interested. Or whatever. So Jerome is going to not come to class because he's saying, well, Miss Hannah ain't into nothing anyway. So what I go into class for? And Miss Hannah has developed the attitude that I'm really interested. I don't want to be here anyway. This class hard. These children annoying. Because at the end of the day, when she goes to the bank, it's little to nothing.
Right. Man, teachers must love you all today for you all to be speaking out out for them and on their behalf, because that is some of the challenges they face. But not just them. There's the cycle then. It trickles down to you all. And it affects your progress, your learning, the ability to learn, because if they're frustrated and can't put out 100%, then that is what happens.
There are some teachers that don't care about the pay. They just see that to take care of the generation, they just see that they need to lead the future into a good direction.
So a lot of sacrifice. Do you guys know of teachers making a lot of sacrifice?
I know of one specifically, and I hope she's listening. It's Mistress Helen G. Campbell, the best math teacher ever. None like her.
Yes, and a lot of my teachers, especially at the business department and language department and departments that are very hands-on, cosmetology and different things like that. A lot of those teachers have to take money out of what they get from government if they hardly have anything left over from dealing with family, home, and their responsibilities. They have to take that money and fund into classroom for new ideas for the students, for new programs that they have to pay for, to update their computers. They have to pay for that. When computers go bad and different things like that, if the government isn't moving swift enough, they're going to get frustrated and say, you know what, let me just do this one time and let me just pay for this. And there are a lot of teachers who are saying, at the end of the day, whether the government pays me or not, I care about my students, and I applaud those teachers who do it.
We do too. I mean,
I do.
Listen, teachers, the conversation applaud you. The conversation applauds you for the great work, the selfless work that you're doing to kind of teach young men just like these, the young ladies also who frequent the show. We are proud of you, and we thank you for the sacrifices that you make that go unwarranted, unnoticed, unrewarded. But the fact is you continue to do it because at the end of the day, the bulk of teachers, the majority of them are very, very committed. They love their kids. As a matter of fact, they kind of adopt them like their own, and they want to see them succeed. They want to see them excel. And so guys, are we done with politics? I mean, I don't know, what were your thoughts? We ain't finished. Okay, you want to break it down then? I don't know if it's, who will be first-time voters in 2 years from now? Everybody here,
That's basically everyone.
the 4 people here at this table. Wow, very interesting. What are you looking at for a leader? What qualifies as a political leader in your view that you will be looking forward to as young men, as young, bright young men who want a better future for yourselves and for the Bahamas in 2017 come next election?
Someone who deals with more action than just words. That's what I have to say. Just more action than your words. You can't go and say.
Hold the mic closer to you, Stefan.
Steven.
Steven.
You can't go and say one thing when your actions prove another thing. You have to prove to the people that you're actually for them and you're going to lead them properly into a good direction. So you just have to provide for them. Make them see that you want to lead them properly.
I mean, I would be looking for someone who would just make up their mind. Like, at least be able to select something and allow that to be...
A decisive person.
Yeah, allow that to be concrete. So I know once you say something, I could go by that, whether I like the decision or not.
Or not.
Don't be someone who's just wanting to please everybody, because that never works. We have over 300,000 people in the Bahamas. Everyone has different opinions.
Right, and that's acceptable.
It
But
is.
one is you're saying, kind of decide you're gonna do something, decide on whatever that is, and do it.
And I need someone whose integrity I want out.
Wow, so you are looking at the individual themselves.
And not only that, to add to that, I'm not looking for anyone, firstly, who's interested in the blame game. Secondly, who's interested in how much money is in the treasury. And thirdly, someone who just wants to know what is our next move in governance to lead these people and to get more money and different things like that. I'm not interested in someone like that. I'm interested in someone who is going to take the time to listen to the people, go back into a think tank with people who actually live these things, find out what the poor man is going through. And a lot of times politicians, they come, they sit down in your house, they look at the baby, they ask you all these different things.
Cute.
Yeah, all these different things, but
Patronizing.
yet
That's
you're
true.
still going on the street with water.
If you want to build the respect of the Bahamian people, then you have to be able to listen to them.
To listen to them and make decisions that are in their best interest.
And I believe in this quote by Margaret Thatcher, and it says, if you set out to be like, it means that you're willing to compromise on anything
My
at
God.
any time, and you won't get anything done. End quote.
That is
I
a great
have a
quote.
quote to that. In addition to that, I will quote Mr. Don Barr, prefect coordinator of our school. Your job as a leader is not to impress the masses, it's to impact. You must impact.
Honey, you want to know about politics?
I want to.
How you gonna be an anesthesiologist? Well, you can.
The
You
dream
can
would
be
be
that
the
first,
dream.
and then you can go
Dr.
and
Dwayne Sands, one of the best cardiologists in the Bahamas.
So it's possible. You can go from being your life's calling, which is of course medicine, and then you can go. So true. Let me not say that. So guys, listen. How about a woman? Would you vote for a woman if a woman were to emerge in 2000? I mean, you all will be first-time voters.
Of course, I'm not biased, but my
I mean,
friend
I feel
here,
as though if the person is they meet my standards, I mean, I don't really care what gender they are, but as long as they
lead.
meet certain criteria, like
As you
we
laid
could
out.
go, yeah, we could be good.
I agree. A person's sex shouldn't matter. A person's gender shouldn't matter, because I believe in gender equality. Because a female can do just as good of a job to run as prime minister than a male.
Yes. So you guys will have no issue.
All I
I
will
wouldn't
say,
have an issue.
If you don't see me.
Oh, Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy.
all I will say is, I love
Holy see.
and I love the Honorable Janet Bostwick. I love her. And I love the Honorable Loretta Butler Turner. That's all I will say.
And so for you then, obviously, those are two ladies who impress you, and so you would have no issue
They do.
with whomever it is, male or female, as long as they meet certain criteria. And
And
are,
part of a certain party.
well, okay, let's read this
Portia
text.
Portia
So we
Simpson.
we ain't going into parties, you know,